Welcome to the latest episode of the UFO Show. In this installment, we get a sneak peek at what the Pentagon will reveal in the summer of 2021 about their UFO research, a UFO cult that's preparing for the return of their creators, and a luxury hotel that's being built in outer space. Let's get started. As you may know by now, the US government is planning to declassify some bombshell information regarding their experiences with UFOs in the summer of 2021, a momentous occasion in history for those of us who've been waiting for definitive proof of life beyond the stars. We've already gotten a peek at what the government has. The Pentagon released those amazing videos of fighter pilots encountering unexplainable objects in the air in 2020, but the plan is for the suits to release everything they know about UFOs. Whether or not that happens will be subjective. Surely, the conspiracy theorists among us will always believe the government won't unleash all of their secrets, but there's still substantial reason to get excited about what we will learn. One person who's helping to prepare us for the big unveiling is John Ratcliffe, the former director of national intelligence. In a recent interview with Fox News, Ratcliffe teased that we'll be privy to some hard-to-believe details about potential friends from another galaxy. Said Ratcliffe, "Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than we have ever made public. Some of those have been declassified. And when we talk about sightings, we are talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain, movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom." Ratcliffe went on to say, "There's quite a few of those, and lest you think he's a tinfoil hat-wearing crank, he added the government will always look for a plausible explanation to these events, but sometimes there are, quote, instances where we don't have good explanations. Naturally, these occurrences aren't relegated to the US, with Ratcliffe stating these sightings have happened all over the world. And as he points out, these aren't just isolated incidents where maybe one person saw something, but, quote, usually we have multiple sensors that are picking up these things. They're unexplained phenomena, and there's actually quite a few more than have been made public." Ratcliffe wrapped up by saying he'd be able to talk even more about this fascinating topic once the files are declassified by the Pentagon. That's scheduled to happen in the summer of 2021, so at the time of this recording, only a few months away. Now might be a good time to remind you that in August of 2020, the US government established a task force for this very reason. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force was announced by the Department of Defense to, as they told it, improve our understanding of the nature and origins of UAPs. It would appear that we'll soon have a better understanding of them in the not-so-distant future. One group that's probably stoked about the declassifying of info regarding UFOs? The Raelians. What? You've never heard of them? They're just the UFO cult that thinks humans are extraterrestrial clones and we're on the verge of welcoming back our creators. Who are we to argue? Cults have always fascinated us, from the Manson family to the NX-IVM cult. Most of us can't picture turning ourselves over to a larger organism that is of one mind, sacrificing our individuality and freedom to a supposed greater good. But some folks feel there's comfort in doing so, and as long as the cult in question isn't hurting anyone or themselves, well, who's to say it's wrong? But some of these groups are a little more out there than others, and that brings us to the Raelians. The Raelians were born out of an encounter had by Claude Verhelon, who now goes by the name of Maitreya Rael. A former journalist, Rael once felt himself compelled to travel to a volcano in France for reasons he couldn't explain. While there, he saw a large silver bell descend from the sky. From within the craft came a small humanoid man who had a face full of love, according to Rael, a visitor calling himself Yahweh. This was the first of 6 meetings between the two. The purpose of those meetings was for Rael to be the messenger for his extraterrestrial kind, our creators, the Elohim. See, evidently, the Elohim created mankind, as well as everything else on Earth, and have been waiting patiently to return to the planet in order to protect us. Thus, Rael set about his mission to help inform and prepare us for the Elohim's arrival, which, I guess, could be any day now. When the Elohim get here, they're going to need a place to set up shop, so the Raelians have been going about attempting to build an embassy for the space travelers, because, according to Rael's website, providing such an embassy and obtaining the necessary guarantees for the rights of its occupants will prove that humanity is ready for an official meeting with its creators. And then we can get down to business. There are reportedly 130,000 members of the Raelians worldwide, if the president of the North American chapter is to be believed. Peaceful clan, the Raelians believe the Garden of Eden was an extraterrestrial laboratory. Noah's Ark was a spaceship that preserved animal DNA, and the Tower of Babel was actually a giant rocket. In fact, they also believe religious figures such as Jesus, Moses, the Buddha, and Muhammad, among others, were messengers of the Elohim, just as Rael is. One thing to look forward to if Rail and his followers are correct, the beginning of a new political system where all goods and services are provided for free by robots so human beings can use their lives to do what they like, creating, doing research and studies, pursuing the arts, or meditating and achieving self-development. We're pretty close to having robots do everything for us as is. So this is exciting news for those of you who want to escape the cubicle and pursue your research studies. The Raelians are relevant again now because of a new documentary about them that can be viewed on Vice titled The Prophet and the Space Aliens, which is a pretty fitting title indeed. And of course, Rael has written a couple of books about his contacts with the Elohim, which go into further detail regarding the ancient beings' past, current, and future plans for their creations, us. Obviously, their beliefs and yours aren't likely to align, at least not too closely. But hey, as long as someone is preparing for the possibility that our creators are aliens who will soon return to Earth and guide us to peace and prosperity, you can rest a little easier. And we know the Pentagon's UAP task force will be watching too, if the Elohim don't arrive anytime soon. And that's a big if. We might as well just get ready to travel ourselves up into the starry night and set up shop in the sky, get us a little closer to whoever's out there, or at least offer them an additional place to contact us. Sound unlikely? A company is working hard to get us vacationing in outer space within the next few years. They seem pretty confident they can do it too. Being stuck at home during a pandemic gets you daydreaming about all kinds of things. Travel, vacation, staying in a hotel thousands of miles above the Earth? Sure, that last part seems pretty unlikely, but California-based company the Gateway Foundation has set its sights on putting a luxury hotel in the sky within the decade. Hopefully, the rates are decent. The Voyager station is a proposed gigantic rotating wheel that would be comprised of 24 modules connected by elevator shafts. It would contain 1/6 of the Earth's gravity, although evidently the gravity can be increased or decreased depending on the speed of the rotation. The company behind this venture is very confident they'll be ready to start construction on the space hotel in 2026, with an eye toward habitation by 2027. That's a pretty ambitious timeline, but don't tell them that. Their website is already taking reservations and offering short and long-term leases. The luxury villas come with cooking facilities, 3 bathrooms, and sleeping accommodation for up to 16 people. There's a gym and activity module that will highlight the station's 1/6 of Earth's gravity, making your b-ball game significantly more interesting. The plan is for the gym and activity module to turn into a concert venue at night where, as the company puts it, the biggest musicians on Earth will rock the station. I can already picture Kanye announcing he's permanently moving to outer space. Oh, and yes, there will be a space bar and space restaurant where you'll be able to buy Tang and freeze-dried ice cream. They'd better have beer on this thing or it's a no-go. The station, which will be about 200 meters in diameter and weigh approximately 2,418 metric tons, that's a lot, is planned to hold up to 440 people. Well, in the early going, the station will surely cater to the rich and famous. The ultimate goal is to make a trip to Voyager the equivalent of a cruise or a stay at Disneyland. It's not all fun and games, though. One goal of the Gateway Foundation is to use at least part of the Voyager as a research station and a training ground for crews who are, quote, heading to Mars, the Moon, and beyond. Essentially, the Voyager will be something we've seen in the movies and Star Trek episodes our whole lives. So, who wants to split a room? Raelians, you down? That's it for now, folks. The truth is out there, somewhere, and we're going to be keeping an eye on things for all you true believers. If you have anything to share with us, don't hesitate to send us an email at ufoshow@joeblow.com. We're eager to hear from our fellow UFO and outer space enthusiasts. Also, please share your thoughts and any cool extraterrestrial news you have in the comments section. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as we're going to be your one-stop shop for all things alien going forward. Until next month, keep watching the skies. Thank you for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our Paranormal Network channel, tell your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all our latest videos. We're an independent company, and we appreciate all your support.